Hey, what's going on? It is Justin here coming from my basement in Colorado Springs. Gonna be doing a video of a little bit of a review kind of thing for the Element Enduro Sendero RTR truck, just a couple upgrades and stuff like that. And I'm gonna run it this weekend. We just built a new crawling course and stuff with an 8 scale track, so we're gonna go out there and see if we can hopefully not break it. I don't know how durable these things are. It's my first experience in the crawling world. Been racing hot bodies and stuff like that. So I'm really excited. This is just going to be a slower pace, but I'm thinking I'm going to get pretty excited with it. It's going to be a pretty good time. So we're going to do a little journey here. Okay, so today we got the Enduro. It's the Element Enduro Sendero trail truck. It's the RTR version. I just picked this up from JTRC in Denver area. First things first, I'm just going to be putting on a receiver for my M17 and some Proline Hyraxes, and I've got an SRT monster torque servo coming in. That'll be the next thing, but I'm gonna just do these little basic things, tires, and hook it up to my radio, and we're gonna go run it today just to see how it does. Okay, so here's how the truck comes out of the box. Comes with a couple things. We got the truck. It is a two-piece body, I guess, and seems kind of flimsy compared to 8th scale racing bodies. I mean, just it's pretty thin, but maybe it doesn't. These just don't take the abuse. A lot of really cool stuff on it, windshield wipers and like mirrors and stuff, and I mean, it's a cool looking little truck. You know, it's not a licensed body or anything, but it still looks pretty cool. These big hunky bumpers. I've seen some reviews that those actually kind of feel. I mean, it's a plastic. It feels pretty solid, but the front one definitely feels more solid than the rear. But and I've seen that they hang pretty low, and so it can really affect how you actually get up onto the rocks and everything like that. I'm learning about all this, so I don't know even the lingo of approach angle or whatever. The tires actually feel pretty, I mean, just sticky and soft, but we're still gonna throw these Hyrax tires on there just to pimp it out a little bit, right? Comes with the owner's manual. Looks like we got some stickers and stuff like that. Came with the associated XP 130 receiver and remote. We don't get rid of that. Got a little parts bag here. Looks like we've got the overdrive gears and battery tray, and I don't know what this other little thing is, but I mean, some kind of I don't know, something to go with the chassis. Actually comes with a Reedy Wolfpack battery. This is a little 2-cell, I think. 3,000 mAh, 7.4 volts. Yeah. This is, I mean, I'm pretty excited to actually have a Reedy battery, and came with a little charger that'll charge up to a 3S. It is ripped on the front of it, but that might have happened when I pulled the tape off. I don't know. This thing says that it's capable of charging all the way up to 3S batteries. Probably a pretty low volts and watts, 30 watt. T-plug, 4mm sockets. I mean, this will be a good little charger. I mean, I could charge a 2-cell, 4-cell, 30 watt. I mean, this is a great little charger for like a receiver or something like that. I'll probably just give this away. If anybody watches this video and you want this charger, if you send me like $5 for shipping or whatever, I'll probably just send this. Maybe use it for my kids. I don't know. I mean, I've got chargers and stuff, so I don't really need this, but pretty cool looking little charger. Looks like it'll charge this little 2-cell, no problem. Okay, got the Proline Hyrax. Got my VP Pro tools. We're gonna break into this thing. Got a little Sanwa RX 482. Gonna throw in here. Hopefully it fits in the receiver box. Otherwise, I got a 472 I can throw in there. set this aside real quick. Take a look at the truck. So we've got T-plug on the ESC here. Yeah, that looks like a pretty big receiver box. Actually, I should be able to fit my Sanwa receiver in there, no problem. Here's a little battery tray for the shorty battery. I do have an SRT servo coming, so I will be replacing this. This and the tires are the only two things that I'm going to replace on the truck, and then I'm going to run it and just see how I like it from there. Will probably switch out the overdrive to the 11% just to see, I mean, how it feels. You know, I've never run overdrive on an RC car, so I mean, this has so much just softness in the suspension. I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's rotating pretty good. I mean, not pulling any of the wheels off the ground or nothing. The wheels actually look pretty cool too. That's, you know, I see people spending a lot of money on the wheels. I think the wheels on this truck actually look pretty cool. I will be replacing this body with something eventually. Kind of want to go almost like a tube chassis, kind of like a roll cage looking thing, almost like a Capra. But I don't know if that'll work on this truck. I don't know. I'm going to experiment and get funky with it. And then I'm going to have Brian Johnson from Clear Customs paint me a sweet ass body for this. But yeah, cool. I'm going to switch out these receivers and stuff. Alright, so one more thing. I just think this is really cool and just a nice little detail here. This battery, I took it out of the little box and it had this little zip tie or rubber band stretchy thing around it, and in between the actual Dean's connector there was just this little foam that it was just mounted right here, and then it was fastened with the rubber band across. And that's just an awesome little packing feature that it's just going to keep it from bouncing around and just getting all beat up. I've had connectors come and they've just been all torn up and stuff right out of the package, and I mean, it's just a generic Dean's connector, but that's a nice little feature. I mean, that's an extra step that they didn't have to do, and they did, so I appreciate that. Alright, so I'm switching out to these Proline Hyrax wheels, or tires, and these look mean as heck. These wheels actually look pretty cool to me. Like, they're plastic, but they feel pretty solid. And I don't think I'm gonna have any problems with them. I'll probably upgrade, you know, whenever I want to look cooler. But I mean, I think they look pretty sweet. It's gonna be a pretty aggressive tire on there as well for the rocks out here in Colorado. I do want to take a second and talk about the tires that came on here because they feel pretty soft. I mean, I don't think it's gonna perform nearly as well as those Hyrax. I mean, this is just me just guessing. I mean, it's a lot closer tread. A lot thicker, you know, maybe a better all-around tire, I don't know, compared to like just climbing rocks or whatever. But there's something really important here. This tire actually came, you can see right there, like the bead is jacked up, like out of the box. And so, I mean, it's just not ever gonna seat properly with these bead-like wheels. Like, it's always gonna pop out right here. I don't know if it's just something, I don't know, but you can see, you know, here's the B that you should be, and it's just gonna slip right there. And so it was just wobbly. I mean, it's a little dusty because I drove it around on my basement floor for like 10 seconds, and I could just see the tire was just wobbling and stuff. Like, maybe it wasn't actually wobbling, it just looked like it was wobbling because it's bulbing out right here. And, you know, kind of unfortunate there. I think they could have done that better. Just maybe QC, maybe I just got a bad tire. I haven't checked the other ones, but I got to take those off. So there you go, it's recording. Now just hold it there, hold the camera there, just watch it. Okay.
Okay. Good job. Okay, so I did about maybe 10 minutes of crawling around in my front yard. My front yard's a zero-scape with just rocks and like big rocks and stuff like that. So it was a pretty cool little spot. Some really big rocks that I flat couldn't make it up. I got a couple things. One, steering. I would prefer a little bit more steering out of the box. Two, on the real steep angles and stuff like that, where a lot of articulation, which the truck has a lot of articulation, but it is definitely rubbing. And these are 1.9 tires. They're not the tires that came with it, but they're the same size. It's maybe a little bit smaller sidewall, but overall, I think they should have designed the body to fit with 1.9 tires. Like these aren't huge or anything like that. So I am gonna have to trim the body substantially in the front and the back. It is rubbing quite a bit. The bumpers definitely. It's pretty chewed up. I was only out there driving for about 10 minutes, and I went pretty slow at everything, and just that bumper just hits everything. Just because it hangs so low and stuff, I guess. It looks pretty cool with the. You could easily put like a winch and stuff like that, but it definitely just the bumper. It's taking up a lot of space. The little windshield or the side mirrors. Those snapped off after like 2 minutes. They're just snapped off. I also let my kids drive it. They were flipping it and stuff, so that could have been it. Back bumper, I didn't really have too much of a problem with. It catches and stuff on the way down, but it's not too bad. Tires were sweet. The truck, it had plenty of power and most, grip to make it up things that I didn't think it was going to make it up. For an RTR, this is doing pretty daggone well. I am going to have to trim these fender flares out big time. I probably have to cut the whole thing off, which is probably just going to weaken the rest of the body, which is unfortunate. But it's got to happen. It is rubbing on literally every single climb. Every obstacle is rubbing. Clearance is good. I didn't really high center on things that, unless it's just a clearly just, like a beam that anybody would high center on. It's not an issue of clearance. It had plenty of power. For just the ready to run motor, the little brushed motor, it had plenty of power to make it up everything. I could definitely feel that overdrive trying to pull me up. I didn't put the 11% on yet, but it definitely is working how it is. It's just the bumper is the main thing, because you have to come at everything at such a crazy angle. If you want to climb this, you got to come all the way from here, turn into it just to get your front wheels over, because the bumper doesn't clear anything. Really, that's it. I had a blast. I had some issues with the wheels as well. I thought these were going to be pretty high quality and stuff like that, and it could just be me cranking down on stuff, from racing. I always want everything tight, and I was tightening these, and it actually started just cracking the wheels, and I wasn't even like cranking past snug. Like I was just getting to where it was snug, and maybe that's just me not being experienced with these beadlock wheels. They just don't have to be as tight as everything on a race car. So that could be me. It could be kind of cheap quality, but you can see it's just bowing out and stuff like that because I over tightened them. Is that me tightening them too much, or these being cheap quality? Maybe a combination of both. So I'm definitely going to look into a bumper and maybe some aluminum wheels. The beads didn't pop out or anything like that. So, there's that. They're doing their job, but I can't get the center hubs in anymore because they're all cracking and stuff like that. What else? This little thing down here, which I'm assuming is for the lights in the front. I didn't plug it in, so it was just hanging. Kind of a pain to plug it in with the body, kind of like hovering and stuff like that. And I didn't feel like messing with it, so I just draped it over the top, and it dropped down. Whatever. If I would have plugged it in, it would have been fine. Everything else seems pretty sweet. I'm pumped. I'm gonna go take this to Covert Ops Raceway, which is, they just built it here in Colorado Springs. We've been out for the past couple weeks. I only went out there one time to help, but I moved a ton of rock to help building the crawling course. There's also a U4 course, so I don't think this is going to be as competitive for that because it's pretty dang slow with the brushed motor and stuff. But it's crawler, so yeah, I'm going to get trimming on these body panels on the fender flares and see if I can give it a little bit more, and hopefully it doesn't look too terrible. Okay guys, so what I've done here, his body was rubbing quite a bit, so I trimmed a substantial amount out of the fenders. You know, I'm not really going for a really clean look. I mean, this is just a generic body anyways. You know, if I would have paid, you know, $100 or $150 or whatever for a body and a paint job and stuff like that, I wouldn't be hacking it up. But this is the RTR, and I'm just gonna experiment with it. I pulled these off because I'm gonna be doing some stuff on the inside. You can see inside there, but I trimmed a substantial amount and wiggled it all around and turned the wheels in the front, and there is no way that my wheels and tires can hit this. So I'm gonna show you a little trick that I'm gonna do. I'm halfway through. I haven't done the actual gluing part yet, but this little trick we do in 8 scale racing, especially with the truggy bodies, just because they take so much abuse and they're hanging out. You know, you don't have any guards on the side or anything, and they're pretty flimsy. And this actually has a pretty cool little grill that stiffens up the front end quite a lot. But so what you do is you take drywall tape, right? It's sticky on one side. I mean, just enough to stick it to the body. First, you clean the body really well. Clean it, soap and water. I was really careful with the electronics. I'm pretty sure these are waterproof anyways, but I still was just really careful and got it really nice and clean inside. And then, let's see if I can pop it on the side here. You put the tape down on all the flex points. I'll probably put a little bit more right here along this edge. I guess I missed that side. I got it pretty good on that side. But on all the flex points, you put this tape, right? All over. I've got it all up and down the creases here. I got some on the back because this section with the two-piece body is super flimsy, and I just don't like that at all. You just put this tape all over, right? You can just cut it with some Lexan scissors and just stick it on there. It sticks pretty well to the plastic body once it's clean. But you just put it in all the cracks all over. You can see I've got, I mean, a bunch of tape on here, and I've got just one on the cross because, I mean, this isn't really going to take too much of an impact from the top. Too much. I'm really concerned about my edges, my corners, and then the areas like here on along my fenders, because I don't want to get cracks and tears and stuff like that all in here. And then what you do, once you've got all that, is you take some good old-fashioned shoe goo and you just glue the tarnation out of this. I mean, just, you don't want it like oozing down or anything, but just coat this, everything where there's the drywall tape. I gotta do this side a little bit, yeah. Everywhere there's tape, you just put shoe goo on there. I just use Q-tips as a little applicator. I scoop it up and I spread it on. I scoop the shoe goo up, I spread it on, I spread it all over where the tape is. And this really will just increase the rigidity and increase the life of your body. I mean, you can give it some real good abuse. And once the shoe goo dries, I mean, this stuff is hard as a rock, and it's gonna be substantially stronger. The body is gonna be stronger, more rigid. It's not gonna tear and bend and flake off and stuff like that, and it's just gonna be, it's gonna last a lot longer. I mean, a thing of shoe goo is like $3. A whole roll of drywall tape, which will last you a lifetime of doing this, is, you know, $5-6 or something like that. And it's really easy to do, and it really just increases the lifespan of a body. I do it on all my 10th or all my 8 scale bodies. I don't do it on 10 scale just because the 10 scale bodies, like 10 scale buggy for racing, you know, if I'm not really too concerned about adding, you know, an extra ounce or something like that, but they really just, the bodies are cheaper and they take less abuse. I mean, they're pretty durable for how fast they're going and how heavy that car is. It's not really an issue. But this body, I'm going to be rolling it around and stuff, and I'm going to beat this truck up. I mean, I'm going to put it through the ringer and do everything that I can, and I'm going to push this truck to see how far we can actually get. And this is just a little trick that I'm doing. I'll do another little video just to show you once I got the glue on, and then maybe another video once the glue dries so you guys can see what it looks like. Alright, so I can actually film this. I've got a dab of the shoe goo on my Q-tip, and I'm just going to show you.
I mean, it is really as simple as this. You just take your dab. I already did this area right here, so I'm gonna try and do this. Since I'm doing it one hand, I'm just gonna do it right here. You just spread the shoe goo. Careful not to pull up the drywall tape. It will pull up as the shoe goo kind of starts to dry. This stuff takes about 24 hours to dry, so you can kind of manipulate it a little bit. It's not ultra fast drying. This isn't like you know, some super glue, crazy glue, or anything like that. So you can actually just wait for quite a bit. I'm just gonna do this a little bit differently so I can keep holding the camera. And I'm just gonna get a nice, trying to keep it even coating. I mean, it's not a big deal if you've got a glob of it or something like that. That's just gonna take a little bit longer to dry, and it's just not as effective of getting it nice and even there. Actually, the guy who showed me this was Thomas Michaels, because I had never done this until I started 8 scale, which was just last year, and I kept just tearing bodies. I got a brand new body, and it was just ripping, and he was like, put some shoe glue on it, and I was, what the hell? And I did it, and it actually works just really, really well. So I have done this to every body since, and I will continue doing this because it works pretty damn well. If you've got a plastic, maybe like a plastic spatula or something like that, it might be better than the Q-tip, because the Q-tip kind of starts to get all stringy, and as it's pulling, as the goo's pulling it, it pulls it apart and stuff like that. So there's probably a better way to do this. This is just what I use, and it's maybe, oh shoot, maybe a little messy, but it works just fine. And I am not going to go all the way up to that part right there to here, because I'm going to put some more tape down on that. You know, I could see if some people were trying to maintain the scale look and they didn't want to have this stuff. I mean, because you can see inside this car, it's got clear windows, so you will be able to see this. Eventually I want to put some kind of like rubber ducky head or something like in there. I got to figure out a way to do that, but this is what's going to happen for now. Just spreading it all over. And I'm going to do that to the whole, everywhere I've got tape on here, I'm going to throw this on there. So you guys get the idea. Alright, so here's the finished product. It's been drying since yesterday. Let it go overnight and dry. You know, it doesn't look pretty, but it's got just a nice coating. I don't know if you can see it on the camera too well. I mean, it's just a nice thick coating. It definitely toughens it up a little bit, but this body is still pretty flimsy. I mean, even with some, I've got to go all the way down there. I didn't go all the way down to the window, but I think I maybe should have. So, I can always throw more on there. A second layer. I'm really concerned about just this area right here. This feels pretty tough back here. I've got quite a bit. I got it all the way around. I've got it deep down into the little wheel wells here. Just to brace it. The middle is certainly a lot stiffer than it was. Yeah, these corners feel okay. This is still pretty wobbly here. Yeah, this feels pretty rigid back here, but I'm really concerned about this. See, I went a little bit deeper on this one, and definitely not as wobbly. Yeah, so you can, I don't know if you can see, this side is way more wobbly than this side. So I will actually, I'm gonna hit it with a second coating, probably down here and maybe even through here,
Yeah, I'm gonna pretty much I'm gonna do the entire thing all over again just so I can really toughen this up, because that is just so wobbly. This may be the thinnest body I've ever seen on an RC car. Like it really is just thin. I mean, it looks okay, but it is very thin. Cool. Okay, guys, so we got a quick update. Put a couple hours into this truck, couple battery packs, and I really am liking it. I mean, it is totally capable. I haven't really had any issues with, I mean, basically anything, except the servo is, I mean, it's dirty right now because I just took it out, me and my kids, yesterday. I found a couple instances where I just did not have enough power for this servo. You know, I'm trying to take this really sharp angle or something, and I'm deep in the rocks, and it's kind of getting hung up and stuff. And the bumpers, they just hang down way too much. Like, I mean, it makes your angle actually pretty hard. That you got to come in, you can't just roll up to anything, and you know, maybe a little more challenging. But I'm gonna go cheat mode. So I got myself an SRT CH. It's 6035. It's like a 400 ounce torque servo, 10 scale. I run SRT in all my 8 scale stuff and even my 10 scale 4-wheel drive buggy. I love these servos. They're awesome. You can get them from Dialed Hobbies. They're sweet. And I also got some other goodies here. I got, just because, some brass hex adapters just for a little bit more weight in the front tires. And then I also got the matching, just associated, the actual bead locks to fit on the back of my wheels. So I'm going to replace the adapters on those with these. And hopefully those will just beefing them up a little bit and I won't break the wheels or anything. And I also got these Vanquish bumpers that are supposed to be pretty low profile and everything. They're still plastic, so I'm not going to worry about beating them up or anything like that. It's, you know, they're going to take a beating, and if they get too chewed up, then that's just some battle damage, you know. And I mean, they're pretty solid. I'll open them up and we can take a look at them. But I'm going to get these installed, and then I'll show you guys kind of what the product looks like afterwards. Okay, so I got the bumper installed, went in nice and clean. It's going to be pretty sweet. I got the back done too. I ended up doing a good hack job on my body, just because I want it to be shorter, just so I'm not catching stuff on the way down. I think it's, maybe, I don't know how it's gonna look, but whatever, it'll help me, it'll be better. So we're having an issue here. So on the front, when I drop the body on, you can see, oh shoot, this wire's in the way, but you can see I'm actually hitting before it comes down. The middle has enough clearance, but the front body just right here is clipping, and so I don't want to trim this bumper. So what I think I might do is actually, I don't have any actual lights in here, so I might cut this part of the grill out, and then it should just seat nice and tight around there. But I also kind of want the body, I mean, I want this to be on the outside of the body, so I think it probably would be better to try and just trim right here. But this is such thick plastic that I don't know that I'd actually be able to trim it and it still look alright. I might actually just go for trimming the bumper. I kind of like the rounded edge, but I'm gonna see what I can get away with by trimming it. Okay, so I trimmed the bumper down just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more clearance right here, because it was kind of just hanging around. I actually took off a good maybe 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit less, but overall, I mean, I think it definitely looks pretty cool. The angle of it, I mean, just my approach angle is going to be so much better. I can already see that. I mean, it drops down so much less than what the stock bumper did. The back, you know, performance wise, I know I'm going to be happy with it. Appearance wise, I definitely just whiffed this thing. Damn, these brakes. One, I wanted to just kind of cut this out and
I just overestimated it and it's a little too short, and I even slammed the bumper in as far as it'll go. So what I'll end up doing is I'll probably just get rid of this bed altogether and get the just a little flatbed kind of thing, and hopefully I can line that just totally flush with this. I think that would be really cool if I can make that happen. And then it'll be a pretty cool looking little truck, and then I'll get some fenders, fender wells and stuff like that in there. Yeah, just if that little flatbed thing I think will just make it look a ton better. So, I mean, overall, like, it doesn't look good in the back. Like, that looks bad. I probably should have just not cut the back end off. That would have been a better idea. You know, I'm just kind of experimenting with the RTR body. So, I mean, it's kind of a cheap, flimsy body anyways. You know, I really don't like the look of this right here. I might try and pinch that or something. And then just shoe goo it. But then that's going to give it a weird, twisted look. So, yeah, overall, I mean, I think the bed of this body is just gone. It's lost all hope. The front, I'm not too upset with. I mean, I think it's going to be okay. And I still kept the lights in there, the factory lights and everything. So I'll still be able to use those. So overall, pretty happy with the bumpers. I mean, they definitely feel pretty solid. The back was pretty hard to wedge into just the little carriers here. The front slid right in and just bolted right on. It was easy. The rear, it took a lot of pushing for me to get in there. And then once I got it in there, it went a little too far, and then I couldn't back it back out. Like, I could not get it back out. It was so tight. So I just drilled new holes and then put the screws just into the new holes. So it's totally slammed in there. Yeah, next the steering servo is going to go in. Okay, guys. I've done a lot of driving on this thing. Took the truck out to Covert Ops. They got the crawling course over there, and it was really cool. Some real big mountains, some like wooden bridges, and like all kinds of cool stuff, and had a really good time. I've had a blast with it. The truck is performing amazing. So I went out there, done some driving out, some rocks and like parks near my house and stuff. But today I went out to a place called Palmer Park in Colorado Springs, and it is just rock crawling city. I mean, if you think about what rock crawling in like a full-size crawler would be, it's all of that, but we can do it on our actual crawlers. And some of these things were really steep. I mean, huge rocks and stuff like that. So I got several different clips. Me and the family went out there today, and this is the final section of my video here. I've got some more big plans for the truck and stuff, but I'm gonna put that into a later video. So basically, the only things that I've done to the truck are steering servo. I got that SRT servo. I got the hex adapters and the Hyrax wheels, the bumpers, and I hacked up the body, and then a different receiver for my Sanwa radio. Other than that, still totally stock. Haven't changed any of the motor ESC. I haven't changed the gears yet. I still plan on doing that just to experiment, what's it feel like. But overall, it felt really good. Out at the Palmer Park today, which was, just amazing. You'll see from the videos, the footage after this, and then that'll be the end of the video. But just the rocks and the terrain out there are just crazy. Just huge boulders, and you'll see in the video. But it was really cool. It really tested the vehicle and tested the durability of it. The body definitely took the most abuse that I've put it through, flipping it over and rolling it and stuff like that. And yeah, it did get a little tear in one little section, but that's really it. All the shoe goo and everything that I put on there, I think that really did a good job of making that cheap, flimsy body a little bit stronger, a little bit better. What else? The truck is filthy right now. I got big plans, huge plans, something I'm going to do, and so I'm going to get rid of this body altogether. But I think it's going to be really cool. Now, that's going to be another video, though. So if you have questions, don't forget, if somebody wants that charger, just message me. If you pay for shipping, I'll just send off that charger. Let me know what you think. Let me know what do you want me to do with this build and everything like that. Aside from the body, I got plans for the body. What's a good upgrade? Do I need axles? Do I need whatever, a different chassis? I really don't know. So if you guys have suggestions what I could do, let me know, and I'll film and make a video of it, post it up. Thanks, guys.